Let me start at the end of the game and then maybe work our way back. The play that was called and Florida knowing what that play was going to be. Was that the collision that we had?
Yeah, and that also, and really Houston's execution on the play. I just watched it again for the third time. They didn't screen anybody on that play. It was just, and normally, let's face it, Kelvin Sampson's a tremendous coach. They execute very well. But on that last play, they didn't execute anything. And that's why, Florida was able to come out and get to Emmanuel Sharp. But if he shot fakes there's a good chance Clayton runs by him and he gets a shot off. Instead, he tried to shoot it right away. Kid makes a mistake in that situation. It happens. But, the big thing, Dan, was they had 5 turnovers in the first 38 minutes and 40 seconds of that game. And the last 120, they had 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
So the execution in the last 2 minutes was bad.
As a former coach, and I brought this up, and maybe I'm thinking that this is what happens, but if I'm going to face you and it's a big game, I have to know, what do you do? What's your go-to play with the game on the line? Like, I have to figure out, what do you love to do? And every team has a play that they love to go to. And I'm wondering, did Houston have a stock play that they love to go to, and Florida did their research, scouting, and knew what it was going to be?
I think Houston has a couple. They ran that one for Emmanuel Sharp. They have a couple for LJ Cryer. Those are the guys that he considers their 2 closers. They also have a play where they can go inside to Juwan Roberts. So, again, I think on that last play, because, the other thing about this, Dan, it's a one-day prep. So there's only so much you can give those kids in one day to get ready for that game. I think that was, obviously, Florida did a great job. I would say it was more a lack of execution on Houston's part than great defense on Florida's part. Though obviously they played good defense on it, but I think Houston really just messed it up.
Yeah, that's a great point. I also brought up, this was during the regular season, maybe it was the SEC tournament, and I said that if you win the SEC, it's like winning the national championship. And Florida was ready for this because, and Duke wasn't, but I think that's because of the conference that you play in, that every single night, Florida knew that they were in for a battle. 4 of those games that they won in the tournament, they trailed by at least 6 points in the second half. Duke wasn't in that, and maybe this is a leap that I'm making, but it did feel like a battle-tested team in a great conference, and that was the difference for Florida.
That's not a leap at all, Dan. You're 100% right. I mean, Duke's average margin of victory this year was 21 points a game. They were in very few close games that came down to the wire. These kids, they were a young team now. Granted, the 2 freshmen, Knipple and Flagg, they played well. But in the last couple of minutes, they didn't have the same legs as they had throughout the game, coming up against a team that's so tough and so physical like Houston was. So I couldn't agree with you more. Them not being in the pressure cooker of the league that the Big 12 and the SEC were definitely made a difference to Duke in that game without question.